All right. Let's go. Let's go. Yes. Yep. Who said noon report? All right. Let's rock it. Yep. Will Gina be the VP? I'll tell you. I'm going to explain. I'm going to explain. Yep. There's an answer to that. There's an answer to that. There is. There's Ryan. What up, Ryan? Folks, Thursday. Here's a good question. There's Kevin Buckland. By the way, excellent job, Kevin. Excellent job. There's Matt Handy. Folks, let's go. I'm going to give you the real insight at what a disaster, complete disaster, this Harris campaign is. And I also want to mention it's embarrassing how the Rhode Island officials are acting. Actually, strike that. Humiliating is a better word. Humiliating is the better word. All right, we're going to be live in just 2 minutes. 2 minutes. Yep. I'm tired of being Mr. Nice Guy. Nope. No more. That's it. I've had it. I've been too nice to these people. Taking advantage of Juan's generousness. Take advantage of my Roman Catholic belief of kindness. Will Jim be the VP? I'll touch on that. Listen, the Harris campaign is a disaster. And this is, she's more incompetent than Biden. You'd be better off with old man Biden. I'd rather have him part-time than her. Let her think that everyone loves her. Doesn't matter. Remember the old expression, you can't put lipstick on a pig. Can't put lipstick on a pig. And you can't make a pig sing. Never been truer. Road Patrol was good last night. Sheriff Tom was great. Wow, was he great. The guy is just a hero, for crying out loud. All right, we're live on the radio in just a moment. We're live in general in just a moment. Let me just see that. Okay, there's there. And we're just waiting for the cue from JR, and then we shall begin. This will be considered, regardless what anyone else says, this will be considered the noon report. Yep. We are standing by at 12:06 on this Thursday. You're listening to the John DePietro Show. It's AM 1380. Who said 99.9 FM? Probably Anthony Santos. Folks, good afternoon, everybody. Again, we are, you can hear me on AM 1380, 99.9 FM. That's true. I was asked a question. Is it true that people can listen online at the website, DePietro.com? No comment. No, the answer is yes. Yes, I'll comment. Yes, you can. And it's in crystal clear audio, thanks to the great Jeff Gamach and the incredible JR. Folks, so blessed to have such fortunate talent surrounding the chosen one in order to be able to perform these broadcast tasks weekdays from 11 to 2. This portion of our program. Now, wait, we're also live on X, formerly Twitter. I don't know why you ever changed it. And we are also live on YouTube, yes. And wait, there's more. In our Facebook page, yes. So, folks, the more platforms, the purpose of that is to make it extend our reach and thus easier for people to be able to hear the program. And also give more value to our very valued sponsors, as a matter of fact. As we continue, so we just hit 30,000 followers on YouTube. All right, still on our path to hit 50,000 by the end of the year. And then you double it next year. The goal is 100,000 followers. X is always steady. And then Facebook right now, we're well over 70,000 followers on FB. Plus, hold on a minute, time out, Harry. Then we have DePietro.com, where people visit every day. Wait, and then plus the radio audience of AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. And more people are watching on X, formerly Twitter, where we have 17,000 followers. So see how it's all coming together. And we are exploring doing the noon report live on TikTok. We'll get there one step at a time. This portion of the program, though, folks, PR and Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown, locally sourced vegetables, sweet corn, native tomatoes. They have it all. Also, remember, they are Rhode Island's #1 garden center, a full-scale nursery. Screen loom and mulch are available, pickup and delivery. They have hanging pots. Stop in. Annuals, perennials, trees, and shrubs. Locally run, family-owned, and they do a fantastic job. And they grind it. Their next day off, Christmas Day. PR Landscape Materials and Garden Center, 3688 Quaker Lane in North Kingstown. Well, folks, good afternoon. Also, remember, check out DePietro.com. We still have more stories brought to you by the Cohasset Inn, 226 Cohasset Avenue, West Warwick. Lunch, dinner. You could always meet Anthony Santos for drinks in the lounge. They're waiting for you, crying out loud, at the Cohasset Inn, plus the market at Cohasset. If you log on, they're proud sponsors of DePietro.com. Remember, if you log on there, we have the police body cam of the Hopkinton killer, Joe Francis, when he had a run-in with police. We have that body cam. We were the first ones to have the Cranston police body cam footage from the feast. And then plus the Pawtucket homicide. East Providence arrested 3 illegals for committing crime, and a lot more. And then all of the video regarding Cranston, St. Mary's Feast in Cranston, with that, what happened. And then I believe this individual still wanted for the Woonsocket shooting. That's all still going on. And then we also have Andrew Martin in custody. Great job, Woonsocket Police. And then we also have the Providence Police body cam video with a Vicksburg armed suspect. So there's a lot of exclusive video there, plus links to all of our social media, Facebook, X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. And then if you scroll down, as I'm doing as we speak, oh, there it is. Well, Venmo, yes, thank you. But also our TikTok link as well. It's a happening at DePietro.com. Now, I want to just start off. Obviously, the media is biased, and we're a little jaded where we are here in the Northeast, Rhode Island and Massachusetts, because of the way the elected officials they don't lean Democrat. I mean, it is unfortunate for now, anyhow, that it's all Democrat. But this whole business of the Harris campaign, let me explain something. The odds that first of all, this would be difficult for anyone to pull off, let alone someone as incompetent as her. She's already proven to be incompetent. This is fantasy land that these people are living in. And, this morning I was up early. I was on Court TV, the great Julie Grant, discussing the Christine Ritchie murder trial, which we're going to be covering, taking place in Plymouth. That is a woman that is accused of murdering her husband, a 23-year Boston firefighter, kitchen knife, stabbed him in the heart, also stabbed him in the back. What does that tell you? There's a lot there. But anyhow, so I was up and then earlier than normal, and then I put on the radio very, very quickly and heard, coming up, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse is going to join us, and Gabe Amo. You know what? Like, what are you talking of? Who cares what they think? Of course, they're just going to, these are the people they're the enablers. The only questions that they should be asked is not how great Kamala Harris is, but the fact that this isn't democracy. But I'm going to explain several different ways. First of all, that she's incompetent. She's the wrong person. What they're going to do, they've already totally screwed up, hear me out, with the VP search. So let's go through. Sunday, On Sunday, Biden puts out on Elon Musk X that he's not going to, seek re-election. By the way, he still hasn't answered why. Yesterday, the White House press briefing was great. Last night, he didn't talk anything about his health. Saturday, I'm in. Sunday, I'm out. I'm out to save democracy. Nothing about age. I like yesterday, the White House press briefing. Is the president not running because he thought he was going to lose to President Trump? So last night, he didn't say anything with that scripted speech. Oh, yeah, he's trying to save democracy. But so Sunday, suddenly, they're all convalescing around Harris. Now, today's Thursday. She's already out on the stump. Oh, all the support. And she's in Houston and she was in Wisconsin and all the money's pouring in and blah, blah, blah. But we're there, I won't say idiots, but you can't go backwards. It immediately came out from the Harris campaign. You got to realize, you think there are leaks now. Wait till this thing really starts to take on water. That's when the leaks will be fully being leaked, pumped out. So it came out that her final four finalists were Senator from Arizona, Governor of Pennsylvania, Shapiro, Governor of Kentucky, and the Governor of North Carolina. 3 Democrat governors and a senator. Then they realized, well, wait a minute. Mayor Pete went on Bill Maher Friday night and was attacking Vance. See, here's the thing. They realized, well, wait a minute. Why did we just immediately announce these are the final 4? If you keep an open field, put them out on the political shows, put them out on the Sunday shows, put them out on Morning Joe, put them out on Meet the Press, put them out on ABC's This Week, CNN, MSNBC, and let's see how they do in attacking Trump, attacking JD Vance, speaking up about Kamala Harris. But it's too late now. So late yesterday, the Harris team leaked to CBS. Oh, wait a minute. There's actually 12 names. Well, there really aren't 12 names. There's not 12 names. There's 4 names. Actually, I think there's 2 names. It's really down to 2 people. That senator that's married to Gabby Giffords from Arizona, and then also the governor of Pennsylvania, who, whoever thought that with the Democrat Party, it's a problem because he's Jewish. Suddenly, I don't know about that. As one Democrat said, CNN, we already have enough of a problem that Harris, the first gentleman of the vice president or second gentleman, whatever he would be, the man who's married to Kamala Harris, he's Jewish. So they're like, all right, hold on. We already have a problem. Half of the Democrat base is anti-Semitic. Half of the Democrat Party is with Hamas. We can't have, and one thing, I don't know that much about the governor of Pennsylvania, but I do know he's very much in favor of charter schools. He also was very outspoken. He's Jewish. He's also been very outspoken in support for Israel. So suddenly they're like, well, I don't know about that. I don't know about that. They look like for checking boxes. Like, shouldn't we get the Jewish vote because she's married to someone who's Jewish? But so suddenly they realize, why did we say 4 when we could have 12 people? Like, you flood the zone. So Meet the Press, you have his Commerce Secretary Raimondo attacking Trump and talking how great Harris is. They realize, Trump did it better. During the course of his selection, you'd see various people out there, whether it was Governor DeSantis or Marco Rubio, or certainly Senator Tim Scott and the governor of North Dakota, and then obviously JD Vance, put them out there, see how they do, and at the same time, you're getting someone speaking positively about you on these Sunday shows or political type shows. So, but the Harris people, you can't go backwards with that. You can't go backwards with that. Now, on the one hand, this is the better way to do it because I would never vote for Mayor Pete, but amongst the Democrats, there are people that think he's strong. So what they're about to do is they're about to vet and almost have an apprentice style, the way President Trump did, apprentice style competition to be VP. But what they're going to learn is they should have done that for the top spot. Now, from what we understand, since the debate, the Harris people started reaching out to different people. And therefore, when it happened, meaning on Sunday, when the president said, on second thought, I'm not running, they had already had conversations with people. So now you're just circling back. It's not the first time. You notice initially a lot of people kind of waited to see, popped their head out to see if anyone else was going to throw their name out. No one did. But I am telling you that I don't care what Governor McKee says or what Elizabeth Warren says or what Lieutenant Governor Matos will say, or Gabe Amo, who's a conspirator, who is lying to you. The questions should be very direct to Governor McKee. How did you not see the decline with Biden? They're enablers. Anyone that has been around the president is an enabler of the president, meaning President Biden. And the cover-up that's been going on regarding what his real health is. So now this whole fake thing that was, they're supposed to be excited about Kamala Harris. Let me be very clear. They're just excited that Biden's off the ticket. That's what the excitement is. This is, there are many times there's someone, there maybe you know people like this. They're in a long-term relationship, whether it's a marriage or just a relationship. They break up and then boom, what do they call it? The rebound. They're back in, another relationship, and this time it's the real thing. And then they start to realize that they rebounded too quickly. There is a process, and these people are completely ignoring the process that has been set up. Regardless of what you think of the delegates, but those people voted for Biden. That's who they're completely. This isn't a democracy. If you follow this, and I think that's why Blake Filippi yesterday was great. So how much farther do you want to take this? This whole business of you're going to disregard what the delegates have voted, and then instead the party elite, the party bosses, pick who the candidate's going to be. Let's fast forward, and some people may not get this, but let's fast forward 2 years. And Helena Foulkes, who's an outsider, by the way, beats McKee in the primary. Well, this becomes the party insiders and the union bosses and the donors and some of the other people. They decide, even though she won the primary, we feel that Dan McKee is the best possible person. So we're going to put pressure on her to step aside, and we're going to endorse him. How much, Biden still hasn't said it was because of age. So what is it? And if it was because of age, then why hasn't he stepped aside? As president, he said nothing last night to convince me of this. The Democrat Party I'm not buying all of this foolishness. And they're already setting up parameters that if you criticize her, it's because of race. If you criticize her, it's because of gender. If you criticize her, it's because she's a woman. That's sexist. If you criticize Harris, it's because she's a woman of color. So that makes you a racist. That, they want to have all the advantages of that. And Beyonce's going to let her use the song Freedom. So they're not fully excited. And you watch, there was a reason why she never even fully made it through the primary for president in 2020. Because her campaign imploded, and they're making so many mistakes. You watch how this thing is going to turn out. And I'm going to enjoy all of it. Because you know what? If you flipped on the Trump rally last night, he was surrounded by Back the Blue. And our local officials that are supporting her need to be asked those questions. Like Gabe Amo and Senator Whitehouse and Governor McKee. And Harris wants to get rid of ICE. Well, of course, that's music to the ears of people that live in a sanctuary state like Rhode Island. She wants to defund the police. The prosecutor versus, that's all nonsense. She is the most liberal, far left, and she's flawed, and she's not serious, and she doesn't work hard. She is not even up to the job of vice president. And these people want to pretend, oh, it's a generational thing. Young people, a flock, it's all this. I am convinced more than ever is going to be a complete Trump blowout. And I'm going to tell you why in just a moment. But folks, this portion of our program is brought to you by fenceRI.com. Call them today, 401-732-0555. FenceRI.com, the premier fence and deck contractor, long-term quality solutions for your yard. Remember, if you contact them and mention the chosen one, mention the show, $200 discount. Wood deck construction, licensed and insured, 5-star rating, free online quote, FenceRI.com. Call them today online. That is the most Rhode Island website and name that you can come up, FenceRI.com. Call them at 401-732-0555. And all I'm asking is get them into the mix if you're thinking of getting a new fence. FenceRI.com. Whole more business, by the way. Why do people get fences? Okay. Pool fencing, pet fencing, privacy. Don't underestimate security. FenceRI.com. 401-732-0555. Now, I also want to mention, let's see. Kay contacted me. Kay is going to have a class reunion. Congratulations. Smithfield, I'm not sure what class. And she's going to have everyone over to her yard. She wondered, who did I recommend to treat her yard for mosquitoes and ticks? Kay, I want you to contact Mosquito Joe of Rhode Island. You can find them on Facebook. I share their page. They treated my property. It's fantastic. I can sit outside. I was live on Court TV. Nothing, no bugs, zero. You feel like you're indoors. 401-426-2032. Mosquito Joe, and the mosquitoes will go. Mosquito Joe, and the mosquitoes will go. Mosquito Joe, Rhode Island. All right, now let me just get back to with Harris. Does that sound like something that makes sense to you? And by the way, I am not in any way inferring when her views get really known, the excitement that she is seeing, the donations that she's seeing, it's more of they were under the guise of that they knew that Biden was going to lose to Trump. That's why. And so the idea that Kamala Harris, the vice president, is the solution it's a huge mistake. And there are some people that are starting to write about it, then you're in such a hurry and it's such a relief. And there's a lot of different analogies that you could get. You have an old broken down car and suddenly someone gives you a new car. Of course, you're immediately excited, but then after a while, maybe it really wasn't the real new car you wanted, but it's like beggars can't be choosers. They're making so many different mistakes, Harris, from the way that they're doing the VP selection. By the way, the party made a mistake. This should have been open. This is a coronation. And Kamala Harris is so arrogant. It's insulting and ridiculous to think that it's anything other than a coronation. No, that's what it is. And she is so arrogant that she thinks this is exactly how the process should work. I've interviewed different people over the years. I won't say any names, but there are different people that they've always thought that this is how it should work. That they've always thought that there shouldn't be a primary and that everyone should just rally behind them. And they got, resentful if it was anything short of that. Hey, this past year, President Trump, if anyone had an argument to make that it should have been uncontested, he had been president He wanted the second term. He had to go through the primary. He didn't like it. But you saw Nikki Haley speak at the convention. You saw Ron DeSantis speak at the convention. You saw Tim Scott speak at the convention. You saw Marco Rubio speak at the convention. You saw, well, J.D. Vance didn't run for president. But my point is, you saw Tim Scott speak at the convention. Harris, it should all be now. She thinks she's a combination of Beyonce and Oprah. Kamala Harris thinks she is the queen bee. And everyone, like, of course, number one, this is her mindset, Kamala Harris. Number one, of course, it should be uncontested because she's the most brilliant and she's a woman of color and she's the vice president. So in her mind, like, well, it's a no-brainer. Of course, she should be the one chosen. Number two, she's going to love all of the Democrats fawning over her, pleading to be on the ticket with her. That's also how she thinks the process should work. I am telling you, she is the wrong person. Now, if anyone thinks, notice, for instance, Gavin Newsom, I don't see his name out there. Maybe he'll take some TV airtime in order to pretend he's going through the process. She's not picking him to be her VP. She's going to pick someone and make it very clear that she's the boss. So she's not going to pick the governor of Michigan. I don't think she wouldn't want two women on the ticket anyway. But if you're the governor of Michigan, and I don't know that much about her, but she's not going to be taken seriously. I'll tell you one person, there's no way, is Raimondo. There's absolutely no chance. Why? And I'm not saying it's a good thing or a bad. Gina Raimondo, like many other politicians at that level, they're about one thing. What's in the best interest of Gina Raimondo? I don't think there's any love there. I've been told there's no love there. Listen, Raimondo pulled off, I'll give her credit for this. She endorsed, never forget, she endorsed Mike Bloomberg. She still got chosen by President Biden to be on the cabinet. Now, that is no small feat. That is not easy to pull off. But it's one thing that she's so grateful to be part of the cabinet, leave Rhode Island, move to Washington, and then now suddenly she's the Commerce Secretary. It's one thing to, hey, beggars can't be choosers. I know I didn't endorse you, but if you can look past that, I'd love to be part of the team. And Mike Bloomberg, who donated / raised $100 million, he had a chick to call in, and he said, okay, listen, I need you to give her a role somewhere. She endorsed me. His campaign fell apart. Elizabeth Warren really took him down. So with Bloomberg, it was more about that they owed Mike Bloomberg something as opposed to that Gina Raimondo just blew them out of the water. But make no mistake about it, there is no love there. And Gina Raimondo is about, and I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but she's about one thing, and that's what's in the best interest of Gina Raimondo. So the fact that she got added to the list and she did endorse, as I said, I believe that means better slot with speaking. Will Gina Raimondo turn down? They go to her and say, they present to her, you could go and meet the press. And you're going to talk. We want you to attack President Trump. We want you to talk about how great Biden-Harris was. And then we want you to speak up for Vice President Harris. If you're Gina Raimondo and you're trying to build on name recognition and you're trying to build your name in the party, not only amongst the delegates, but amongst the donors, would you turn that down? No, you would not turn that down. Why? Because she wants to be better known. Gina Raimondo, she wants George Clooney to throw her a fundraiser. She wants she wants Jeffrey Katzenberg to reach out to her people and say, I want you to know, I just watched her on Morning Joe, and I thought she was terrific. They want that. The donors are, you can't, if there's anyone that underestimates the role that the donors play within the Democrat Party, really both parties, but you just saw it really play out with the Democrat Party that Biden won't admit, but the money, the Hollywood donors was gonna come to an end. And then he really realized, okay, that not only hurts president, but it hurts Senate, hurts Congress. I believe Raimondo, she is not going to be chosen as VP. I'm not even saying I don't think it's going to be. What does she bring? No, they need a state. This becomes numbers. The biggest thing Josh Shapiro has going for him is if he can deliver Pennsylvania. That's a big state to deliver. I believe someone like a Gina Raimondo, and she's not alone, by the way, because the governor of Michigan is very aggressive, very ambitious, right? House of Ambition. This provides an opportunity to go around the country, you want to raise money and help people running for Senate, people running for Congress, in order to, you put favors out there. Because at some point you're going to call in a favor, right? At some point you're going to say, hey, so-and-so, remember yeah, that's right. Hey, I was glad to go to Florida and help you, pull off that victory for your congressional seat. By the way, I'm about to announce that I'm running for president. I'd really like your support or the donors. So Gina Raimondo is on a mission. I still think she's eyeing 2028. And I still think privately that she would want Trump Pence to win. Unless there was some very high profile gig within a Harris administration that she would be offered. And that may come from, she obviously enjoys a good relationship with President Biden. So maybe that becomes, he's the one giving the order. But I also want to tell you right now, a huge mistake. The Harris campaign, to me, they're making more mistakes than doing things the right way. But I'm going to tell you about in a moment. Folks, I want to remind you, and again, good afternoon. You're listening or watching the John DePietro Show. It's AM 1380, 99.9 FM. This is The Real News at Noon, brought to you by Royal Exteriors. Remember, call them 401-533-9989. 401-533-9989. Royal Exteriors, where the customer, as Andrew says, is king or queen. Andrew is very knowledgeable. You're going to deal directly with the owner. Andrew is there to serve you, help you select the right roof or exterior as far as siding. Royal, right? Exteriors, 401-533-9989. Give them, provide Andrew. If you're listening right now on this Thursday, and maybe you think of you're riding in the car, wherever you're listening or watching and thinking, it's funny, we have been thinking about getting a new roof. Let him pitch your business. Royal Exteriors, 401-533-9989, online, royalexteriorsri.com. Now, where's Harris making a huge mistake? This portion of the program, folks, this race to the White House update is brought to you by Propane Plus. For all your propane needs, call them today, 401-885-4209. In Massachusetts, 508-252-3359. Propane Plus, the original, the leader, 3 generations. Find them online at propaneplus.com. Where Harris is making a huge mistake. A presidential campaign is like nothing else. Comes together quickly. There's so much money flowing in. It's like a company that forms overnight. And all of a sudden, in a short amount of time, the amount of money that is flowing in, it's hundreds of millions of dollars, close to $1 billion. What type of company has something like that? It would take someone very extraordinary to get involved in that. So Harris has already announced we're going to keep all the Biden people in place. We're going to keep them in place. We're just switching out the candidate. Now, there's also talk that David Plouffe and some of the Obama people are going to be joining the campaign. And so now you're going to have them in the mix. So, number one, she doesn't have her people. When things go wrong, and by the way, they will go wrong. Every campaign. What are you talking? I mean, you're talking about there's so many different moving parts, and there's rallies, and there's signage, and there's headquarters, and there's door knocking, and everything else that goes around with it, and millions, and ad campaigns, and blah blah blah, and everything else. So everything that goes involved with it. Obviously, there's every campaign there's going to be mistakes. But now with this campaign with Harris, you're really going to see finger pointing, because the first thing she's going to do is point and blame the Biden people, this Jen O'Malley Dillon that she inherited. So that woman, on Saturday, that woman was saying President Biden is into it to win it, and blah, blah, blah. Suddenly, until he wasn't. We still don't know why. So the first thing she's going to do is blame them for screwing up. Now you're going to have the Obama people coming in. Oh, and they want to help. Everybody wants to help. If you remember last October, when I went up to Lewiston, Maine, and there was the shooter that they thought, by the way, was a fugitive still on the loose, the mass shooting they had. And I went to that press briefing. They were completely overwhelmed, totally overwhelmed. They had the White House on the phone. They had FBI offering help. They had Mass State Police helping. They were having press conference. I mean, every time I don't remember exactly who was running it, but every time he turned around, the president's on the phone. The head of the FBI is on the phone. The head of the Maine State Police is on the phone. Boston FBI wants to help out. Homeland Security wants to help out. I mean, every time there were too many, right? Like too many chefs in the kitchen, so to speak. So the Harris people will put together a commercial, and it's put together by who? The Biden people. Well, if you've been brought in to help out and you're Team Obama, you're not just going to say, yeah, it looks great. If you would say that, then what do they need you for? So the first thing, it's like people that hire a consultant. You don't hire a consultant for them to say everything's fine, even if everything is fine. Then otherwise, why are you paying them? Just by their definition, they're supposed to find things wrong. So out of the box, this thing is going to be such a mess, and there's going to be so many leaks. If you notice, there've been no leaks with the Trump rally. The Trump campaign. Nothing. They didn't leak J.D. Vance. He's keeping it very tight. He's got two people that had worked for Governor DeSantis that are running his campaign. They ran very tight through the primary. They ran a very tight convention. The Trump campaign, you don't see any finger pointing. There's no leaks. That rally last night, who was behind the president, backed the blue signs. Why is that important? Because Harris wants to defund the police, and she wants to abolish ICE. Across the country, a major problem is immigration. And the Democrat candidate is standing there and saying that she wants to defund ICE. That doesn't make sense to anybody reasonable. If you were watching last night, number one, it was great to see President Trump back out there, and a big crowd in North Carolina, a state that is in play, but I think that they should pull it out. Even though, it's a Democrat governor of North Carolina. But it's going to be a strong contrast. And then let's compare it to what we saw in Washington yesterday that I want to touch on. But folks, this portion of the program, remember, AJ Drywall Plasters Home Improvement. If you need some work done on your home inside, AJ Drywall Plasters Home Improvement. They can do frame to finish basements. They can do acoustical ceilings. They could build you a new home. Or they could do an addition or commercial rehab, painting, remodeling. 401-323-8255. 9252. AJ Drywall Plasters Home Improvement. Put them in the mix. I share their Facebook page. They're wildly competent for your home or business. Sometimes you just need the inside of your home painted. Sometimes many people are looking into, maybe I'll add on an in-law apartment, or people that are saying, oh, granny flats are going to be legal. Maybe I'll turn my garage into a second dwelling. I'll tell you who could do that for you. AJ Home Improvement. Call them today, 401-323-9252. AJ Drywall Plasters Home Improvement. Well, if you saw yesterday in our nation's capital, those were Democrats. Those were Democrats. Those were not, they were not Republicans. The Democrat convention in Chicago yesterday was a preview. And if you haven't seen it, the footage, Netanyahu was in D.C., and that became a dog whistle for all of the anti-Semitism. And these people are all on the far left. And the chief of staff of the Providence City Council was arrested. These are anti-Semitic individuals who sympathize with a terrorist group, Hamas, and they want death to Israel. And the biggest proponents and the biggest cheerleaders of the prime minister were the Republicans. I saw Ted Cruz last night on Hannity. He was saying it was like a speech that Winston Churchill gave. Netanyahu is tough as nails. They're not cowering to this business of ceasefire in Gaza. You know, did you see they were burning the American flag in Washington, D.C. yesterday? And who were they? They were all anti-Israel, anti-Semitic, anti-American protesters. And guess what? And they were all Democrats. These people, wait till you see, this is going to be so, wait till you see what they're going to do in Chicago. Because they can't be controlled. And there's no shame to them. And they burn flags, and they're brutal. And they are such bottom feeders. And they're all there. That is the Democrat Party. There were no Trump people out there yesterday. That's not who has the anti-Semitism problem. You know, yesterday, if you watch that, what was going on in Washington, that is an utter disgrace. And I believe fringe voters, and there are some, believe it or not, there are some people that are undecided. There are some people that are still trying to figure out who they should vote for. No one likes to see that. Harris, let them all be excited. It's all a honeymoon. It's all going to come crashing down. And for the next month, all these people fawning over her. And now suddenly her name is everywhere. But see, they can't hide who their party is. And their party does not support Israel. Those people, that was so disgraceful yesterday. They took down the American flag. They put up all over Washington the Palestinian flag. And then they were burning the American flag and lighting it on fire, and the whole, it was so disgraceful. And then they were defacing our monuments. Why would you deface our monuments? Why would you're a Democrat voter. You're the chief of staff of the Providence City Council. Providence City Council, chief of staff, and you are spray painting Hamas is coming on a statue in Washington, D.C. These people are nuts, and I have no respect for them. Oh my God, they're such filth. I can't stand them. I loathe them. And if you remember the protests from last fall and this spring, they are filth. Absolute filth. There's nothing. Why would you put death to? I mean, they're, how do you have a conversation with someone like that? The good news is there's an election. That you would never mistake those people for being Trump supporters. Hardly. Nope. Not happening. Good. Let there be this type of distinction. I'm not glad. I don't like to see it happen, but let everyone see it happen. Because this business of Kamala, they're all so excited. She loves the fact that it's just Harris, that it's just her name. She doesn't even want a vice president. You want to talk about a diva? You want to talk about, she is beyond an egomaniac. Kamala Harris is impossible to deal with. She's incompetent. Her interviews are embarrassing. That nervous cackle, gee, who does that remind you of? She is a lightweight. There are Democrats that are far superior to her. Thank God. You know what? Thank God she's the nominee. Good. Because it's still Biden Harris. She could name someone else. This election is about Biden Harris. He's still the president. It's all about Biden Harris. Only this time it's Harris Biden. How great, by the way, this election update, folks, brought to you by J. Perry Paving. High quality, fair pricing, exceptional service, 20 years experience, specialized commercial paving, residential paving. Call J. Perry Paving today. 401, 401, 732-1730. 401-732-1730. J. Perry Paving. Licensed and insured. Your driveway is going to look so much better after it's paved, or your parking lot is going to look so much better after it's paved. J. Perry Paving. Call them for a free quote. 401-732-1730. And remember, look for them on Facebook. And no one is better to veterans than J. Perry Paving. They can't ignore that. They can't get past that. Let her be the nominee. I think President Trump and J.D. Vance are in a very good position. The more that Harris is the real Harris, the real her views, the more that her views come under play, the more that people see really what she's about, that's where this thing is really going to implode. Now, I also want to mention, in getting back to closer to home, as some of you know, now yesterday I had former House Minority Leader Blake Filippi on. And obviously I like him, I respect him, and he had impact. He had impact on that JCLS. But I want to talk about the current Republican Party. And I don't have an answer for this. But I want to credit Channel 12. Rhode Island candidates list 2 dead people on nomination papers. This is for the mayoral election in Woonsocket. Not only are 2 dead people listed, but there are multiple people that never signed the document. I want to once again reiterate. I don't have any answer, by the way. I don't have any answer for what I'm going to say to you. I have no idea why the Rhode Island Republican Party will not have a press briefing today. It doesn't have to be in Woonsocket. Call attention to, once again, dead people on the nomination papers. Folks, obviously the Democrat Party is not going to do it. How can anyone overlook this? How can we still have this system? If they can do it, for, as I have said repeatedly, if they can do it with nomination signatures, who says they can't do it with actual ballots? By the way, the reason why they're getting caught putting the names of dead people with the nomination papers is because they have to be turned in and they have to be notarized. And there's multiple people in Woonsocket that were saying, I never signed that. So, this Keith Harrison. But the larger picture here is, keep in mind, with those are just nomination papers to get on the ballot. As far as a mail ballot from Wesley to Woonsocket, you don't even need it notarized. I don't understand. Jessica De La Cruz, Senator Cruz, Joe Powers, I'll send a message to him. What are you waiting for? Do they think the Democrat Party? Do you think the Democrat Party wants to draw attention to the fact that they keep getting caught cheating? Of course they don't want to. Matos last summer. Now another example, and I want to remind you folks, these are the people that are getting caught. It doesn't mean it's the only people doing it. It's just the people that are getting caught. There's the great scene in Ozark of the guy that runs a country store for 20 years. And then as they're closing up one night, he sees one of his workers that's been with him for 20 years sliding a bill into her pocket. The question, it's not the first time that this person stole from him. It's the first time he caught her stealing. Who knows how many times they've stolen? I don't understand the strategy. I'll say this. Maybe this will help the Rhode Island Republican Party. The Democrats are never calling a press conference to draw attention to the fact that they're signing the signatures of dead people. You have to do that. I want to repeat. Let's remove the presidential election for a moment. The early voting is too long. The provisions for mail ballots are unchecked. Rhode Island operates differently than Massachusetts and Connecticut. Again, someone is signing the name of dead people. And that's just for the nominating signature. As Justin Katz points out, there is an advantage to holding power. So, of course, cheating, people that say, why would they cheat? To gain power and to stay in power. As soon as I saw that Target 12 piece, a great job by Tim White and his crew at Channel 12, I thought, please tell me there's going to be a press conference. I mean, if they do it tomorrow, it's a Friday in the summertime. I don't understand. I'm at a loss. If it's as if they don't understand what their role is. We're never going to have legitimate elections unless they roll back how they allow these people to skirt the rules and cheat. And Matos is still getting away with it. She should have been arrested. Well, she said she didn't know. I don't believe her. I think she's a pathological liar. Folks, this portion of the program is brought to you by, and I did get an email from Ed. Ed has a problem with his ankle. Sent me an email. Who is that person you recommend? Ed, contact Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist. They're right in the Smithfield Medical Center, Route 5 in Smithfield. You can call them at 401-949-3220. Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialists. Now, they have 3 doctors available, all board-certified podiatrists. They perform all aspects of foot care. As someone that I walk and run, basically average around 7 to 8 miles a day. I wouldn't be able to do it if I had, foot problems. So Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist, foot care, whether it's skin conditions, I don't have that. Bunions, I don't have that. Hammer toe, no. Fractures and sprains, I have even had a broken ankle from playing basketball. Folks, Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialists, they have the digital x-ray on site. They accept all health insurance. They're knowledgeable. They're not some store clerk who's trying to sell you expensive inserts. Call today, Greenville Foot and Ankle Specialist, 401-949-3220, and online at greenvillefootandανklespecialist.com. You can also find them on Facebook. Well, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePietro Show. It's AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Listen, the good news is the Harris campaign is a mess. And I think it's pathetic how all the local officials, both Rhode Island and Mass, just line up behind her. Let them think that she's the right person. As you look at any of these focus groups, she was supposed to straighten out the border. She did nothing. So let them enjoy this. The people locally and the media locally, she's considering Gina. She's not considering Gina. Oh, Harris, there's so much excitement. No. And I can't believe even she should want to debate President Trump. I don't know if she is going to debate President Trump. I don't know if he's going to. I would like to see him debate her. We learn a lot from debates. But this whole month, the month of August coming up, watch what happens with her campaign, and then watch what happens in Chicago for the DNC, because it's going to be a disaster. It is. And they are fooling themselves if they think that she is competent. And hear me out. It would take a lot. It would take an extraordinary individual to come in at this late part of the game and be able to run a competent campaign. It would take someone highly skilled, and it certainly isn't her. Now, Frank asked me, what's the place? I got a message from Frank. What's the place on Federal Hill I recommend? His in-laws coming in. They love Mexican food. You want Don Jose's Tequila, 45 high-end tequilas, Frank. You're gonna love it. Place is so fun. 351 Atwells Avenue, right on historic Federal Hill. Remember, they have the back patio. They have Sunday brunch, 10:30 to 3, Taco Tuesday, and then Monday through Thursday, $26.99, three-course special. Back patio, dining out front Saturday night, al fresco. Don Jose's Tequila. I love it. Well, folks, good afternoon. You're listening to the John DePietro Show. It's AM 1380 and 99.9 FM. Now, next hour on the radio show, you are going to hear Dan McGowan of, the Boston Globe. And I thought last night, President Biden still didn't answer anything. Nothing about his health. Nothing on suddenly why he's out. I did hear a report today that Chuck Schumer put out that he went and saw President Biden the Saturday that President Trump, the assassination attempt. And the source is claiming that he told Schumer, I'm going to leave, but I need a week. And which probably was the better idea, only because it was then the Republican convention. But last night, you still didn't get an answer why he left the race. Why they want to rally around Harris, let them. She's not the female Obama. She's not even close. All right, folks, we're going to be back on the other side after the 1 o'clock news. Stay tuned.